I've been saying I was going to focus on these grifters, and initially I thought I was going to focus on the Fugazi, the No Fugazi podcast. I went on the No Fugazi podcast a while back, and seemingly he edited me out, and then he put me back in there, so we covered that. But of late, there's a recent a grifter that's somewhat been exposed, a MAGA grifter, and that's Brandon Tatum. And I think he's had some interesting decisions to make as it relates to his position on the right there, and as it relates to Nick Fuentes. I think Nick Fuentes is the thought leader on that side in the absence of Charlie Kirk. And so we're going to take a listen to some Nick Fuentes. He's using some rough language from Brandon Tatum's perspective, and then we'll let you hear Brandon Tatum's perspective, his response, and I think you'll get an idea of where the grift kind of runs into a dead end. So here's the first clip from Nick Fuentes. And I'll start it right here in the middle of the clip.
Get them some bitch ass nigga. Amen, shit. Amen, Tucker, nigga, them some bitch ass niggas. Amen.
He's a fucking idiot. Brandon Tatum is an idiot. Dumbest person I've ever heard. He should get an education. Officer Tatum should get an education. He should learn how to fuck.
Here's the thing about Tatum, from my standpoint. I used to watch him a little bit, and I thought he was a good voice and authority as it related to police matters. How to approach being pulled over by police, some of the cases that were high profile, Breonna Edwards, cases like that. I thought he was an authority, and he spoke very well in those cases. But as he moved into the political realm, there were some things that he was going to have to encounter, or at least be comfortable with taking head on, facing head on there. And particularly one of them is race and crime. And I think he wanted to kind of split the baby there, play the middle. And I think as it relates now in the politics with Charlie Kirk being dead, there is no playing the middle. And I think he wanted to play the middle. And here's another Nick Fuentes response to Brandon Tatum.
Go for nigga 6, 7 cent, $20. Brandon Tatum got to be one of the biggest retards with his Israel stance. The guy had nothing to refute Myron. Myron hit him with fact after fact, and he had absolutely nothing other than a disagree, and that's not true. Spoiler, it was true. Dude sold out to Israel for 5 bands in a Snickers bar. Pretty sad.
And so here's the other angle that Officer Tatum, again, he's grifting. He needs money, or he's doing it for money, I should say. And so his YouTube career is focused around kind of playing the middle and not offending his benefactors. And Nick Fuentes, who sees Israel as one of his bigger targets, or his opposition, he's not beholden to money as it relates to targeting what he sees as Jewish influence.
Stay safe, Nick.
Thank you, man. Yeah, dude, he's a coon. That is a straight up coon. That's just what he is. He does it for free. He goes, I don't take money from Israel. I don't take money. Oh, you do it for free then? Wow. Good boy. Wow. Good job, Ossifer. Ossifer, please. I can't breathe. Ossifer. Good job, Ossifer Tatum. You do it for free. Good boy. He's shilling for Israel for free. Don't even need to get paid. That's a good boy.
Julia Stomp sent $25.
The best.
And on it goes. And so here's Brandon Tatum's response to Nick Fuentes. And I want you to pay particular attention as it relates to race and how he responds to Nick Fuentes. And here's his response.
I swear Nick Fuentes want to be Charlie, but he can't get his stuff together. He don't want to do right, I don't think. He has these crazy radical claims. He is racist. He may not want to say he is, but he's racist. The things that you're saying is actually racist. You can't couple it by saying black people do this. I'm afraid of black. When I see a black person, but then what about the black people you see that don't have saggy pants? Do you still believe that about them? He go on to talk about how he want to marry somebody that look like him. That, like, he could see a black woman and like her, but he can't be with her because she's not white. That's racist. Now, you can do it. You live in America. You do what you want to do. But he said it out of his own mouth, and he said stuff over the years. I don't care that Nick Fuentes is racist. I don't care that Nick Fuentes wants to only marry white people because he wants his kids to look like him. I don't care. He's entitled to his own opinion. But I don't want him walking around and saying he's not a racist. No, you racist, but it's okay for you to be racist. But just say if I said I don't want to marry, I'll never marry a white woman. Why would I marry a white woman? I want my kids to look like me. Are you saying because she's white, these are the things that come along with her? This is who she is because she's white? Why do you want your kids to look like you? To me, it's superfluous. My kids are mixed. They don't have to look like me. Their DNA is not somehow destroyed because their mama is white and I'm black. And then we ain't even talk about the Jew hate stuff that he be saying, denying the Holocaust or having an extreme view on the Holocaust. It's crazy to me.
And that is where I think is the critical divide there. Brandon Tatum apparently is married to a white woman. I wasn't aware of that coming into this video. And so here he is married to a white woman, and he has to refute some of Nick Fuentes' thoughts on black people and his crime and things like that. Things that you hear on this stream all the time where people are trying their best to avoid living around black people. Not that they think all black people are criminals, but they know that in the black areas there's a higher propensity for violence and crime. Brandon Tatum is married to a white woman, and he doesn't want to admit that. He says all people commit crime, blacks, whites, Latinos. And while that very well could be true, there's one group that has an outsized effect on everyone else in their commission of crime. Brandon Tate wants to look away from that. Nick Fuentes does not, and it will not allow him to look away from that and uses very harsh language. And that is where I think the grift comes in for Brandon Tatum. He has to avoid looking at black crime to maintain his status within the mainstream political establishment. Once again, I am John Galt. Thank you for joining. And this will be a continuing series, and we'll probably do another one on Brandon Tatum and his grifting. Thanks again for joining.